Are you live? Are you live? You press the button. Thank you for telling me. Hi everyone, my name's Colette Matriga. I'm a Thermomix consultant here in Australia. And if you haven't yet got one of these mighty machines in your kitchen, please consider it. It will absolutely bring so much excitement, save you time, money, get you to eat healthier. It's just such a great asset in the kitchen. I call it my sous chef. It helps me with everything. Anyhow, today what I want to do, a little bit different, I'm not actually cooking. I'm actually going to be telling you a little bit about one of the great features that the TM6 has, and that is our steaming feature. Previous models you could steam in as well, but I've got to tell you, it is just a great thing. And if you haven't yet been steaming in your Thermomix, you need to give it some serious consideration. So we're going to walk through how you do it, give you some tips and tricks, and if you've got questions, pop them in the chat. If I don't have a chance to answer them here, I will go back afterwards and answer them all later on today. So steaming, let's just take a look at this first of all. In the Thermomix, steaming is known as the Varoma, and it's a temperature setting. So if you press that middle setting, turn the dial right to the very end, you are going to find the Veroma setting, which is our steaming temperature. So basically it's going to really cook at a high heat and create steam, which is going to cook your food. Little tip, remember, if you really want to deselect anything you have, all you need to do is hold that down for a couple of seconds and it reverts back to 0. Okay, so that's where you'll find the Veroma. This here is what we know as the Varoma, and it comes with your Thermomix when you purchase your Thermomix. Now yours will have a coloured black screen. This is an older one. So basically you have the lid, you have the Varoma tray, and you have the Varoma dish. Now you can cook with these all together or separately. But before I get onto these, let's go back to our Thermomix and talk about the basics as we start to kind of move up. So in order to create steam, we need some form of liquid. So you might be, for example, cooking in your Veroma some cauliflower rice, and you might be cooking a curry in the Thermomix. What you need to determine is there steam being created? If there's steam being created, then you can really put that on top and start to cook on top. So you can definitely cook when there's a dish cooking, but most of the time we tend to use the steaming with a liquid in here, which is mainly kind of water. Now, water in here can be flavoured. And what that means is that if you add in some vegetable stock paste, maybe some onions, some old herbs that you need to use up, those flavours are going to infuse into what you're cooking, so you're going to get a nicer result. So as long as you have liquid in there and you go to that Veroma temperature setting, you're going to create steam, which means that you can cook. Now, with the Thermomix itself, there's a number of things that we can steam in. We can steam in the Veroma, and we can also steam in the basket. Again, this comes with your Thermomix when you actually buy it. So for example, if I just wanted a little bit of steamed chicken, if I was doing a chicken Caesar salad for Andrew and I would probably put the chicken in here rather than get the Veroma dirty. I would put my water in here, season up my chicken, pop that in there, pop the lid on and basically select the Veroma setting, and I know that that chicken would take me about 15 minutes, and I'll tell you how I know that in a minute. So you can steam whatever you like if it's a smaller quantity in the basket. Let's go back to that liquid. Now, the chicken I mentioned to you will take me anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes depending on how thick it is, etc. But what will happen is whenever you're steaming, we always start off with 500 grams of water. So you're going to put 500 grams of water. A little hack or little tip that I'm going to share with you, I always start off with tap hot water, kind of gets things going more quickly, starts creating that steam more quickly. The only time I don't do that is if I'm steaming hard vegetables like potatoes. Now, so 500 mils of water is what we always start off with. Now, 500 mils will give you at least half an hour of steaming time. So let's say you are going to be steaming some prawns. Prawns take about 10 minutes, so you'd start off with that 500 mils of water, knowing that within 10 minutes those prawns are going to be steamed to perfection. If you are doing a large, for example, pork tenderloin, and you've actually put a beautiful spice rub on that and you are steaming that, that will probably take you about 40 minutes. If it's a large one, about 700 gram piece. So in that case, that 500 mils of water is not going to be enough. What I need to do is add more water. And what I would do is add in an extra 250 mils of water for every additional 15 minutes I make. Does that make sense, Andrew? Thank you. So if I'm steaming for about 45 minutes, you could put in a litre of water, it doesn't matter, but as long as you have at least 750 mils of that tap hot water, that's going to be enough water to create steam for the time that pork fillet will take to cook. Hopefully that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up, guys. Does it make sense to you? All right. So if you're doing a corned beef or you're doing a whole chicken will take you about an hour to steam. So therefore, you're going to need at least a litre of water in there. All right. So that takes care of the water side of things. Now let's head back to our Varoma. Now with the Veroma, let's go back and talk about the chicken that I just mentioned. So if you haven't tried a whole chicken yet in your Thermomix, please try it. Steamed chicken is a beautiful thing. Chicken is amazing, and in fact, it's one of my favourite proteins if it's cooked well. Nothing worse than dried chicken. And when you steam a chicken in the Thermomix, it is so moist and beautiful, really, really good. If you do really insist on crispy skin, you can either take the skin off and pop it in the oven and crisp it up separately, or you can just pop the chicken in the oven afterwards, but be careful you don't dry it out, because that defeats the objective. If I am steaming a whole chicken, one of the little tips I'll give you is I tend to put in about 2 litres of water, minimum 1.5 litres. Yeah, that's a lot more than we need, because an hour steaming we need 1 litre of water, but by putting more in, what's going to happen, the juices from the chicken are going to drop down into that water. Maybe I've added some vegetable stock paste, some herbs, some leek. And what I'm actually creating is a lovely chicken stock that I can actually strain off and use during the week in soups, etc. So a little tip there. Now, you'll notice with the Veroma dish, we have holes in the bottom. Now, in order for you to cook whatever is in your Veroma, that steam needs to travel up and circulate the food. Now, if we take our chicken, we're going to plonk that down on here, and it's going to cover all those holes, so the steam is not going to travel up. In the mix shop, a couple of items I always recommend to my new customers. This is known as the trivet. It is very inexpensive and it is wonderful. This is designed to fit exactly into your Veroma, and what it does, it lifts that chicken or whatever you're cooking off the base. So therefore the steam is going to come up through the holes and actually circulate and cook that chicken beautifully. So that is known as the trivet, available in the mix shop. Some people will use the butterfly, but of course it's all tipsy-topsy, and some people will use some chopsticks, which are fine just as a make-do while you're waiting for this to come. But this really is good because you've got all the holes through it and it's designed for that purpose. So that's the trivet. So you can just then pop the lid on. Your water's in there. I would pop that into position. So whenever you say put Veroma in position when you're following a recipe, that's what it means. And then you would actually insert the time. So in this case, I would do 60 minutes, but I'm just pretending. I would choose Veroma temperature, and then I would choose my speed. Now, the faster it goes, the more steam it's going to create. So I normally would go between 1.5 and 2 as my preferred speeds. If you are doing a whole chicken, please for the first time there's a whole selection of wonderful cookie dough recipes, fully guided. There's even some with a beautiful stuffing and a spice rub. Please follow those recipes and it will tell you. Normally you'll see it is anywhere from 1 to 2. You can actually steam up to speed 4 if you want to, but it's not something that I'd recommend. So me, 1.5 to 2. And then I would walk away and then the Thermomix will call me back in an hour's time and I have beautifully steamed chicken. Now when you're taking that chicken out, we want to be careful because we don't want to pull this up and pop it on the bench because all the whole water's going to come down and just flood and make a big mess. So what you want to do is to take the lid off. Now if you're taking the lid off, what I want you to remember is you take the lid off 2 hands away from you, so the steam comes up behind you. That way you're not getting a facial, which is not a good thing. So we're going to take it off, we're going to invert it, and our lid now becomes a trivet. So we're going to pop that down, and then we pick up our chicken, and then we quickly pop it on the trivet, so any juices are collecting in here. And what I would do is pour those juices back in to my chicken stock that we were making. So then you can go ahead and cut your chicken, do whatever you want to do there. All right. So now let's move on to the Varoma tray. And what you'll notice, the bottom of the Varoma tray, lots of holes, which we need for all the steam. But what we've also got are these side vents, which are fabulous, because there are quite a few dishes where you want to kind of create a dish to trap a sauce. So let me explain that further. Now you could take some baking paper, pop that underneath the tap under wet water. You get a better result than what I have here.
You say under wet water, as opposed to what, dry water?
Thank you, Andrew. Underwater. And then you will undo it, and then you will just basically pop this into your tray. And you want to make sure, see how everything, the bottom is all sealed now, so no steam's coming through. I need to make sure that I keep those side vents free, so it's not going to collect so much sauce. So let's say I had a chicken breast, so a chicken breast will take 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how thick it is. I've got a couple of chicken breasts, a beautiful spice rub is on that. What would happen is the sauce would be created by the steam hitting the lid and the water droplets going down, and then you'd create that little bit of a sauce. Now, one of my very favourite dishes, which we love, and I probably have about once a week, is my teriyaki chicken. You'll find the recipe for that on my blog, which is colettesthermykitchen.com. It's a fabulous dish. It's super healthy, low carb, and absolutely delicious. And what I would do from the mix shop again, I think it's about $14, $15, something like that. This is known as the Veroma tray. Can you see how deep that tray is? That depth means the capture of a beautiful sauce. So what I would do is pop that into my Veroma, and what you'll notice is how unobstructed those side vents are. So that's going to create that steam, so whatever I'm putting in here will actually cook. On my blog there's another fabulous recipe that we love, which is the chicken and black bean sauce. That's done by using this tray as well. But going back to my teriyaki salmon, you could use any fish, you could even use chicken tenderloins instead. What I would do for Andrew and I is put a couple of bits of salmon on here. I would actually top that with teriyaki sauce. We know how fabulous that is to make in the Thermomix. So much cheaper, so much nicer. Top it really generously with teriyaki sauce. Ginger, spring onions, a bit of chili, maybe some shredded carrot, whatever you want on top. And then what I do underneath, I'll have some vegetables which I have chopped. So bok choy, whatever veggies that you want. Now, remembering those basic principles, we need to allow room for the steam to circulate. If I put my vegetables in here, it's going to cover the whole base, which means there's no steam circulating, so my veggies won't cook and my fish won't cook. So what you need to do is you need to leave a gap, or you can go to, I've got a kitchen shop. This is what's known as a plating ring. They're about $5. I have that, I sit that in the middle, and I put my veggies around it. So I've got steam that is circulating up through here. You might have a deep crumpet ring or something like that that you can actually use. So I have veggies here, and I then place my salmon on top, put that into position, and in this case I would put in there 15 minutes. Actually, I would put in 12 minutes because that's how I like my salmon cooked. I start off with hot water, and I would then turn this to speed 2 and on the Veroma temperature, and I'd have dinner ready in literally under 15 minutes. How good is that? And all I need to wash up is what's here, and of course the Thermomix bowl will clean itself. So lots of options along those lines. So creating a sauce, the Varoma tray is a really good thing for you to invest in. I saw Aldi had a similar tray recently, but it wasn't as deep. So, but this is so inexpensive in the shop. Okay, so we have gone through the liquid, this, and I talked to you a little bit about timings. How do I know that? Well, 6 years in, you'd expect me to know how long things take to steam, especially because I will just do things quite comfortably manually. But you could quite happily go into Cookie Doo, and you could just type into Cookie Doo steaming. S-T-E-A-M. It's always hard doing it from the side. Steaming. Hopefully I've spelled it right. And up will come hundreds and hundreds of different recipes that you can actually do, from your pulled pork to meat to just really all sorts. Steamed puddings. There's just such a lot that you can actually do, and it's also great to use in your layered cooking. So like I was talking earlier, cooking a curry, maybe cooking some rice in here, and then putting that on top. So if I was cooking that dinner, one of the other things that I would know is that, well, I've got this space between the water and the lid empty. What you could actually do is pop a few eggs in here, pop that in, and they take 15 minutes, the same size as that particular fish, and thank you. And so then at the end, as a bonus, using the same energy, I've got some hard-boiled eggs I can throw in the fridge. So sometimes if I have room there and I haven't used my egg function, we know how great that is, I might throw a couple of eggs in there.
What's going on in the other thermi?
I will tell you in just one second, everybody. All right, so just going back to how do I know? Basically, I know because of this cookbook. So this is what your first learning point. This comes with your Thermomix, and at the very back of this, you have got a resource section, which is absolutely fabulous. Tells you all about steaming, tells you all about the actual the timings that we talked about. So here it tells you how long the different veggies take, how long your fish takes, your chicken, your pork, etc. So that is your reference source, and that will start you out to comfortably start steaming yourself. Now, one of the things that I love to do each week, and it's something that you might want to adopt, I know lots of my customers now actually do this, is I always order a couple of chicken breasts when I do shopping. When my shopping arrives, the first thing I do is take out those chicken breasts. I season them generously, and I will, depending on how thick they are, sometimes I pound them down a little bit, sometimes I don't bother. I will pop those chicken breasts on here. If I have a few more, of course I've got the bottom I can use as well. And yeah, definitely you can use that to lift them off. Chicken breast there, 500 mils of water, on it goes, steaming 15 minutes. And I'll check it then. Usually for me that 15 minutes is good, but it might take a little bit longer depending on the thickness. It might take 20 minutes. You shouldn't need it over 20 minutes. While that's happening, I'm unpacking all my shopping. By the time I've unpacked my shopping, this calls me back, and my chicken is ready. And of course, what I have left is in my bowl, I've got chicken stock into a container, just let it cool down a bit, then in the fridge for whatever during the week. And then what I do with my empty bowl, don't wash it, I take my chicken breasts, chop them in a couple of pieces, throw them in, and then I go to my controls on my Thermomix and I tell my Thermomix to go for 4 seconds, speed 4 on reverse, and it shreds it beautifully. Can't tell you how good it is. 4 seconds, speed 4 on reverse. Then what I do, take one of your beautiful big rose gold trays or whatever baking tray you have, pour it on there in the freezer for an hour to kind of flash freeze it. Then I scoop it all up into a bag, pop it in that bag. And then during the week, if we're having pizza night and I don't have a protein, I can take some of that out and sprinkle it on the pizza. If I have a pasta dish that I'm making and I need some protein, I can put that in. If I want a chicken and avocado sandwich, take out a handful, defrost in 10 minutes, and I've got a lovely chicken and avocado sandwich. So it's a really great freezer staple for you to have. So, what else have I got here to show you? So, yep, in the mix shop you can buy these Varoma liners, which actually are designed to fit. Some come with holes. Remember, if they've got holes, whatever it is will drip down into the bowl. This one hasn't got holes, so it doesn't drip down, so you can catch it on top. What I've got in my Veroma, I will show you now. I would steam a little treat for Andrew and I. Just bear with me 1 second. I'll have something. Okay, use this one. I basically, literally, it took me about 4 minutes to make this. No time at all. And I have done one of our Thermomix favourites, some sticky puddings. Now you'll see this is a little hack. What I've actually done on top is I've laid a piece of paper, and that means you can see how the water has pooled here in the middle. I'd rather it pool there than on top of my sticky date puddings. So look at these little beauties. Yum! Now these little containers I again love. So if you're going shopping in the mix shop for all your steaming stuff, I love these. You can use the little ceramic molds, which are great. But these are designed, there's 8 of them, and the 8 of them will fit into the Thermomix comfortably. And I love them, and I use them for panna cottas, all kinds of things. I'm just going to grab something from the fridge, Andrew. Okay. So sticky date puddings, all sorts. The orange puddings are delicious. There are so many different things that you can make. And I thought it would be nice to finish off because we always like to show off something. I'm going to grab one of these. And if you are a steamed pudding person, you just know how much more beautifully a steamed pudding is going to be. So I'm just giving it a bit of a release. Oh, how delicious. Onto the heat, and the lovely thing about these is they do come out really, really nicely. And what I love, can you see how tall that is? That's why I love to use these. Really love them tall. Now I've gone ahead and made a beautiful caramel sauce, all in the Thermomix. The sauce took me actually a couple of minutes to make and about 7 minutes of thermi time to cook. So on goes, oh yum, that beautiful pudding. And then of course to finish it off, I'm just going to have a little bit of cream. I have no berries, so just put a little bit of cream on here. I actually misplaced my usual nib, and it wasn't until I started to shake it I realised it's inside there. I left it inside, so just a lovely little bit of cream just to indulge. Ooh. How good is that going to be, Andrew? So, from your puddings to your steamed prawns to your steamed chicken. Oh my God, we are so lucky that the Thermomix has this steaming function. There's so much.
That's pretty damn good.
I know. I'm going to be in these good books tonight. Wow. Yeah, it's so lucky to have this feature, and how easy is it with our Thermomix. It takes so little of our time. I mean, think if you were making these the traditional way, oh my God, the mess, the bowls, the whisks, you know, even if you used a food processor, Thermi makes the sauce, makes the actual batter, steams it. Perfect. This one little gadget, I love it. So that's me. That's some great tips and tricks on steaming. If you haven't used it yet, come on guys, get it out. Let's make the most of our investment. Search steaming, think about what you're going to cook next, and get used to that function. Dinners in 15 minutes, easy with the Veroma. So thank you so much. My name's Colette Matriga. We have actually just started our journey on Thermofest. Thermofest is the big travel event that consultants strive to achieve, and this year we are heading off to Bali, which is amazing. And last night I had a wonderful information session for people that were curious about coming on board as a consultant. Some might be striving towards to go to Bali, but others will strive for different reasons. There's no reason why you can't do kind of what I'm doing, why you can't be a Thermomix consultant. If it's something that you're curious about, if you're looking for permanent or flexible part-time work, give me a call. Let me tell you about it. You never know. It might be just something that you would absolutely love. So my name's Colette Matriga. Whether you want a Thermomix, whether you want to come on board and earn one, 4 machines in 2 months. That's all you need to sell. You've earned your machine for free, plus you get about $900 back. It's the cheapest and most fun way to get a Thermomix in your kitchen. Thanks everybody. You have a beautiful Sunday. My name's Colette Matriga, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Say bye, Andrew.
Bye, Andrew.
Let's go dig in. Can we have dessert before we have dinner? The pork's not ready.
I think I just have.
Oh my gosh. It's so good. Let's have this before, and then we can have another one afterwards. What do you reckon?
I think it's so good.
Okay.
Oh.
You're not recording still?
Oh, yeah. What's happened to that one?
Oh, the paper stuck to it.
No, I took it actually.
Did you do that? Lucky.
Bye-bye.